So when the ISO Working Group 10 was looking at how we fulfill the different use cases, we gathered together a list. It's really a subset of the things that we do with driver license and ID documents, daily or over the course of our lives. We had certain things that we wanted to be in scope, certain things that we wanted to sort of move quickly to the market with, and then other things that were future planned items. Key to any of these is what was said before, selective release of information or data minimization. This is the holder having control and the holder being able to approve the release of only those data elements that are required for any of these use cases above. So for instance, as with an age-restricted item, you don't necessarily need to know the name or the address of the person who's there purchasing. You simply need to know that it came from an issuing jurisdiction, that it's unexpired, that their age is over 21. So the standard allows for that minimization, allows for that consent to sharing the data at the request and release of the data. So there are certain things that are in fact out of scope in the ISO in this particular standard. Provisioning, deleting, or updating the data. While those are jurisdictional needs, they're not standardized in ISO 18013. They will be standardized in the future through another ISO standard, 23220. But in day one, in this first release, they're not. That ability to show the driving privilege is not trustworthy, is not something that will be standardized, short of there being sort of a trusted screen execution environment, similar to the trusted computing execution environments, similar to being a trusted screen where nobody can kind of break into what's written on the screen. That will not be standardized. And then, so then we looked at, okay, all of these use cases, we can fulfill all of these use cases with what's called day one of the ISO standard, which includes the features that I talked about on the previous slide. The ability to use NFC or QR code to kick off a transaction, the ability to use NFC or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi aware for an offline transmission of the data, or the ability to use a web API or in fact OpenID Connect for the online. We can fulfill each of these use cases using those transmission mechanisms. And we've scoped this so that in the first day one release, it is expected that these will be attended operations. There will be a person who can take a look at the photo, see that the photo was signed by the issuing authority, and verify the identity of the person to that. We anticipate in day two being able to move towards an sort of unattended operation, being able to move towards having automated user authentication. And as well, the sort of distance is scoped down to those initial two NFC tap and the QR code reading that restricts the distance at which these can start down a little bit. And those are the concepts by which we're able to roll out this day one of the ISO standard, which is available now. You can download versions of it now, and then also the as we're working on the day two, and that day one version should be finalized as a final international standard this year.